welcome back here. Go Live Studios in the heart of Las Vegas. This is Full Tilt Vegas. We're going to have Brett Lawson coming on after the commercial in a little bit here. He's going to talk about sports, and we would like to keep it right now. College football and professional football. Any questions? Everyone want to call in? They can call in. The number is going to be on the screen here. You can call in and push 1 for the studio, and that way Brett can answer any of your questions. You have any questions you want a team you like, or any parlay, or any type of parlay, or anything you want to talk about professional football or college. Okay, what I want to do right now, the book, it's in the Book Winning Ways. You can get that on Amazon, Google Play, you can Kindle it. I suggest you get it on your phone so I have it everywhere you go. It's doing well. I just saw my quarterlies, it's pretty good. So what I want to do right now, before we get into any of the segments, I was gone 3 weeks, and the reason why I was gone 3 weeks, I was in Tennessee visiting my son and my son Eric, and his wife Natalie, his son Tristan, and daughter Lexi, which I call her Yaki, because she always, since she gets up, she just keeps going till she goes to sleep. So Yakster, if you're listening. Aaron, is you going to show any of those pictures? We got a video first.
I'll show one picture first.
Oh, that's the Christmas, Eric's house. He had it all real nice, and the next day he took it all down. He didn't have it very long. He said he had to get Tennessee Farragut. It snowed last night. Okay. Yeah, so that was, it really snowed. It was really neat. I was hoping it wouldn't snow no more for at least a couple of days because I had to get on that plane and, no ice on the plane. That's Eric and his wife and his 2 kids, Tristan and Yaki. Her name is Lexi, but I call her Yaki because she likes to talk. And that's my poster there. Me and Eric is my son, and my poster came, so I posted that. So that was really nice that me and him got that both taken together. So you can you can buy these posters and the coffee cups. We do have coffee cups here. If anybody wants to buy any of the Go Live Vegas coffee cups, we have those here. You can call in and order those. Go online and order those coffee cups. There's a snowman. But anyway, it was it was really nice over there. I had a good time. It was relaxing, and that Brett was here taking over for me, so that was nice to him. And I might be calling on him to do that some more if I'm gone, so that way the show can continue. We can get all the people out there that are interested in gambling, house games, sports. We'll be going to all the sports. So right now we're doing football, so any questions for that, you can call in. And we'll be doing the basketball and the baseball. So, but right now we like to keep focused on the football. And there is a lot of injuries, so it's really hard to handicap because a lot of players are out, and Brett will be breaking all that down. So you got to keep in mind that if even a team you like, or you're putting money on that team, you got to remember if those injuries are on that team, then you might want to bet the other team. Hey, the win's a win. It doesn't matter if your team wins or loses. The idea is when you're betting is to win. So I'm just saying. Okay, we're going to get more into that when Brett comes on, because I like to. Brett is going to be now on the show, and I'm hoping to bring more people in because there is a lot of people that like sports betting. I do dabble with it here and there, but my thing is mainly focused on the casino games and poker and stuff like that. But it's going to be a great add-on to the show with Brett and his expertise on these all these games, and I don't know if he told you on the other show, I think he was part of ESPN at one time. Yeah, so, but I'm hoping that, if someday they might pull him from this show. And I'm going to say, bye, Brett. I said, "You're back on ESPN," which it could happen. I think the guy's great. I mean, it's incredible. His knowledge blows my mind, and the way he talks. I mean, just boom, boom, boom. One thing, just like if you know what you know, it just comes out. It just spills out. Like that's why I look back at some of my episodes and I have made a few mistakes because there's so much that's in your head you want to talk about, and then that aspect of that it branches off. I got 5 more things to say that I want to talk about this, but I'm supposed to be talking about this, but I keep branching off doing something else, so I do make mistakes. Okay, so before we bring Brett on, I want to talk about this small segment on roulette, and the reason why is because I was at the D Casino downtown 2 days ago, and normally I don't play roulette, but I went in there and I said, you know what I'm going to do? Let me play roulette first. So I was at the D, and I walked up to the table, and it was me and a couple of people, and I placed $25 on the first 12 and $25 on the second 12. What that means is the casino, there's a lot of ways to play roulette. A lot of people like playing straight up numbers. That's great and dandy if you win, but even if you play 8 straight up numbers, it's 2.63% to hit 1. So if you have playing 8 of those, and the casino still has 30 for them, so it's 30 to 8 in the casino's favor. It doesn't matter what it pays. The percentage, the ratio is 30 for them, only 8 for you, because there's 36 numbers and then the 2 zeros. The 2 zeros is 5.26% for hitting those 2. So what I did is I use ratios, and I teach ratios because on a roulette layout, you have the first 12, the second 12, and the third 12. The columns are exactly the same, but I just like playing first, second, and third 12s. Take 2 of those. I don't care if it's the first and the third, or the second and third, or the first and second. I don't care. I usually start out first and second. It means there's 12 numbers, and then you got 12 numbers. That's 24. The casino only has the other 12 and the 2 zeros, which is 14. So the ratio is 24 to 14 in your favor. You're playing a little bit more money on the first 12 or second 12, but it pays 2 to 1. You are going to lose one of them, but you're catching 24 numbers. So if you lose, say you lose the first 12, you catch the middle, which is the second 12, that will pay off the one you lost in the first, and then you will make, if you play $10, you will make another $10. So I was doing this for, I just started doing it, and I was playing, and I just happened to catch the first 5. I won the first 5, first and second 12s, and I won the first 5, and I think I lost 2. Then I won the next 7. So, but you do got to watch the dealer. You have to watch the dealer because they will look at the wheel. The floor comes over and whispers in their ears. They've done it before. You can see them do it, and they either switch the balls because the rotation of the wheel, they get in a habit of spinning a certain spin, and then they're using the same ball. So pretty much they kind of hit somewhat same numbers. That's why you see 31 black, 3 to 4 times. You might see 2, 3 zeros. That's why people notice it, because they see the zeros. But it doesn't matter. It's not that they're cheating. It's just they get into a rhythm, and they want to break that rhythm because people start betting those numbers. But what happened is I end up, I won about, I think it was about 600, I think it was 625 or 650. I can't remember, one of those. But anyway, so when I was quitting, the guy was watching me. There was a couple of people watching me, and he come over and asked me, he says, why were you playing, well, actually, I went from $10, and I eventually, within the next 3-4 spins, I went to 25. So he asked me, I says, why are you taking all those numbers? And I said, well, yes, I'm taking all those numbers, but I'm taking those numbers and I'm putting those numbers in my favor. And you got to remember something. I'm losing one, but I'm winning it back, and then I'm making another. If I was betting 25, I was winning another 25. So I won a total of $25 a shot. Now you can do this find a table. It's $5. You can do this, and then and so he asked me, he says, well, do they get mad because you keep winning? I says, no. I said, it doesn't mean I'm going to keep winning. I mean, I've done this before and taken a couple of good losses, and I just quit. But it doesn't matter. But the ratios are in your favor to win the bet. It doesn't mean you're going to win, but they're in your favor to win. So I just happened to win, and he just asked me, can he copy me? I said, you can do what you want. And then so I gave him my card, and so now hopefully he buys my book and watches this show. So I told him to watch the show, and his name was Art, so it had nothing to do with my daughter's husband. His name happened to be Art, and so hopefully he'll pick up my book and he'll continue to watch shows and tell his friends about Full Tilt. But you can go to my book and see that section. I do teach that in Roulette. I show you that in the columns. It's the same thing. It's 47.37% to hit one of the 12. So you got 12, first, second, third, 12, and then the columns is exactly the same, 47.37. That's your percentage of hitting those numbers. Now remember something. I've always said my book, even though I think the way I actually present the book and what I teach in the book, I think it's to me it goes from beginning to advance, and it's a very good book on teaching someone that's never gambled before, or people that do gamble and they find out a few things they never knew before. It's not because I wrote it, it's because I answered so many questions when I was a dealer, and I listened to the public. And I listen to what they want to know, not what the casino tries to teach them or their friends teach them. You need to understand the ratios of the game you're playing. You need to understand the percentage that you have over the casino or they have over you. And you need to understand the odds, which the odds is what money you place and what that number pays out for those odds. Like on let's just say, I guess I can use red or black, even or odd, and roulette. That's it's 47.37, but the ratio is 18 for you and 20 for the casino. Now you can see right there, the casino there's only two more numbers. So you got 18 red, and then there's 18 black against you, and then you have the 2 zeros. So that's really close to 50-50, but that's what I teach is the ratios and how close a certain bet you're making is close to being at least 50-50 in your favor. So that in the field bet, which is 20 ways to lose, 16 ways to win, it's a little more harder, but that is the ratio. So these ratios on certain bets you make, you want them to put them close to where you have a shot. Like on a roulette, you playing one number is 2.63% to hit that number. And you have a ratio, it's 1 for you and 37 for the casino. Why would you make that bet? That's outrageous. 37 for them and only 1 for you. That's what you got. That's what you're playing against. That's the ratio. So I don't care if it pays $1,000. You got to hit it first. So the reason why I want to tell you is because this did happen a couple of days ago, and hopefully Art, I didn't get his last name, but I hope you learn a little bit more about roulette, because he was down. I think it was down like $80, but he doesn't bet a lot of money. He bets $5, but he I can imagine how much losses he take the way he was playing. It just plopping numbers down. But anyway, so let's see. It's 6. We got a lot of to talk about sports this week, this weekend. Today, especially the game I saw, the Denver and the Chiefs, and it was a fantastic game. Brett's going to go over that. We're going to do some picks here, and we're also going to have Brett's pick of the week, or Brett's pick, his best pick. We haven't got the name down yet, but it's we're going to have maybe his parlay of the week. We're going to be doing that, and he does pretty good. So I want to make sure that I focus a little bit on sports betting on this show, because I know there's a lot of people that told me, "Well, how come you don't have sports betting?" So that's why I asked Brett, he wants to come on the show, and he said no problem. And but his expertise is fantastic, and so we're going to be doing that. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to give him more time today, because we cover a lot. There's a lot of stuff that was going on. A lot of stuff is going to be happening because there is a lot of injuries on some of the players in these games. So we're going to go into all that. So after this commercial, we're going to run my skateboard commercial here. It's a teaser trailer. And when we come back, we'll have Brett, the expert, here. So if you got any questions, call in. Make sure it's on football, professional, or college. Go ahead, Aaron. Here live, Full Tilt Vegas. We're here at Go Live Studios in the heart of Las Vegas. Yes, we're going to go ahead and talk more about sports betting and football. I'm gonna lay the hands over here to Brett, and we're going to be talking about I guess maybe the Chiefs game today and see what was going on with that. But don't forget, anybody have any questions, you can call in that number right there and hit 1 for the studios. Brett, take it away.
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously today what we saw, final 28-24, Kansas City gets the victory, was laying 10.5, around 10, depending on where you, what shop you were looking at. But I think this was a classic example of a Week 18 game, formerly Week 17. Now Week 18, that culmination of the regular season finale, where we so often see some teams really show up to play, and other times we see teams completely, I guess, it looks like they didn't get out of bed. And this was not the case today. Denver came to play, was ready all the way, made it difficult for Kansas City. Not a lot of big plays over the top. Tyreek Hill got hurt. That's definitely going to be something to monitor heading into the playoff. Now, Kansas City winning that game could get the first round bye in the playoff if Tennessee loses tomorrow to Houston. If Tennessee wins due to the tiebreaker, Tennessee will get that first round bye. And remember, now there is only 1. There are no longer 2 like there used to be, given the greater crop in the playoffs now with that 7th seed added last year. So obviously a lot of ramifications surrounding that win for Kansas City, and it was not an easy one. They had to scratch and claw for it. And again, not a lot of big plays, a lot of slow, long, methodical drives. We saw that from the very get-go, the opening drive of the game. And early on, Denver really seemed to answer everything Kansas City threw at him. We saw Drew Lock would use his legs, make a couple of nice throws there late in the second quarter going into the half. And coming out at the start of the third quarter, we saw a very close football game that then sort of started a, I guess you could say, shift towards the momentum of Kansas City a little bit. Still was close all the way to the end, as we saw with that 4-point margin of victory for the Chiefs. But they kind of took hold a little bit more in the second half, and the difference in quarterback obviously became apparent. Drew Lock played very well and may have put the organization on hold as a whole on notice for him being the starter next year. Again, they drafted him with their first round draft pick in 2019. So the jury's still out on him. A performance like today is something that he needed. But the takeaway ultimately is going to be Kansas City's offense and Patrick Mahomes. How are they going to fare with a hobbled Tyreek Hill heading into the playoffs? That'll be something we determine on the show next week when that matchup is all set. Again, by this time tomorrow night, we will have solidification in terms of that playoff bracket in both the AFC and the NFC. But it could be going through Arrowhead depending on what happens in that game tomorrow with the Tennessee Titans and the Houston Texans. So the Kansas City Chiefs, Richard, took care of business. If you're a Denver backer, you wound up winning that play because they covered the spread and Denver was formidable to the end. But the Chiefs did what they needed to do, and Mahomes really looked solid, just doing the little things, doing those efficient things, those long, methodical drives where you pick a defense apart as opposed to trying to burn them deep. The Kansas City Chiefs, when forced to do that against certain teams this year, have struggled. This week, though, against a divisional rival, they were able to get it done.
Yeah, if anybody's seen the game, I saw parts of it. I saw the first half.
That was a good one.
That's pretty good. What was it? 27 seconds, and Locke just gets away and walks that in.
Yeah, two scores that actually kind of look similar in terms of how he found the end zone, but great effort on his part and great awareness to escape the pocket and use his legs. A lot of quarterbacks now, even the ones that aren't the Kyler Murrays and the Lamar Jacksons and the Jalen Hurts of the world, even these guys can use their legs at this point. So we're seeing the constant evolution of the position. We're even guys who kind of on the outside, on the surface level, look like strictly a pocket passer type of player. Even those guys now have proven they could take off. And speaking of Jalen Hurts, Dallas and Philadelphia currently knotted at 10-10 about midway through the second quarter. We thought that was going to be the superior game of the day, but we wound up getting a good one this afternoon. And thus far, a very good one right here live in the moment tonight. So two good Saturday matchups that kind of serves that Week 18 Monday Night Football doubleheader before the action tomorrow, which also should be a good day.
Yeah, well, I haven't really been keeping up on football, but we're going to go later into, at the end of the show, Brett's pick. But what did you think about Mahomes, the way he threw that ball? It was the first quarter when he turned sideways. They thought he had him. He just, boom.
Yeah.
That was incredible.
And he continues to prove that he can do things that other guys just can't do. We've seen him throw across the field. You never go against the grain. It's cardinal sin number one for a quarterback. But if you're going to be a quarterback to break that cardinal rule, you best be a damn good one. And with the exception of Aaron Rodgers, I don't know if we've ever seen a quarterback as talented as Patrick Mahomes. And in a way, a year like what we've seen in 2021 is good for him, especially young quarterbacks who have had a lot of success early given the nature of their organization, the personnel surrounding them, the head coach. He's had a lot of benefits that a lot of guys who are drafted in his position normally don't have. Now he's also had to capitalize on that, and he's done exactly that. If they get back to the AFC title game this year, it'll be the fourth consecutive year in a row, and if he were to get to the Super Bowl, it would be the third consecutive year he gets there. Obviously, he's doing what they drafted him to do, but this year kind of came back down to earth a little bit. We've seen certain defenses find the mold, at least kind of in the earlier part of the season, midpoint of the season. We saw Tennessee do it. Some of these other teams that they were matched up against, Green Bay with Jordan Love, that was a close game where their defense really couldn't get, really wasn't able to, I guess you could say, prove that they're a Super Bowl caliber unit against especially a backup quarterback like Jordan Love. But since then, it has only gotten better, and that defensive unit has played a little bit better, getting some of those defensive linemen back and healthy. Chris Jones playing on the inside, Frank Clark playing on the edge. It really shows that this unit is much different defensively, albeit not a dominant unit. But it's no secret that defense of the Kansas City Chiefs is not going to be the key to them getting back to the Super Bowl. But again, with what some of these opposing defenses have been able to do, taking away the deep threat, jamming Kelsey on the line, getting physical down underneath, making it a lot harder for Mahomes to immediately find that second option, that security blanket that Travis Kelsey has been for him now for the entirety of his career. When you take that away, it was a little bit more up and down, a little bit rockier here in certain places, not as smooth as we've seen the past few years. And yet here they are, possible number one seed. Tennessee loses tomorrow, they're going to be right back where they want to be. And all that mid-season, turmoil, those woes to where both the defense and the offense just didn't seem to click, all of that will be silenced if Kansas City positions themselves once again as the premier team in the AFC in the playoffs. And if they don't, either way, they won't get that first round bye, but they'll still be positioned to where they'll host a home playoff game in the immediate future as we go week by week here through the playoffs.
Are they playing in Tennessee?
If the Titans were to win, they would in that matchup because the Titans would have home field advantage. However, the Chiefs are looking like they're going to finish as the number 2 seed here. The Chiefs will still have that early home game in the wild card round of the playoffs. It's just as opposed to years past, they won't have that first week off. Tennessee will because it's only one team now. In years past, that number 2 seed would also have the bye. This week, not so much. So if Kansas City doesn't get that number 1 bye, if Tennessee wins tomorrow, like they probably will, given the fact they're matched up against the Texans, you would have to assume that Kansas City would host a week from right now, whether it be a Saturday or Sunday matchup. They'll host a week from now, wild card weekend, at Arrowhead, but they will not have the week off. They would have to play a full playoff slate, wild card divisional conference championship if they wanted to get back to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I was just wondering. I don't know if they have a dome or not, but
That's out. Arrowhead's outdoor.
yeah, there's
Yep.
a lot of snow out there right now.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was one. And that was one thing that a lot of people were curious about. Would the elements be a factor today against Denver? But that wasn't the case. Both quarterbacks made plays. They made throws downfield, and both offenses were able to click. We saw Melvin Gordon run the ball effectively up until that costly forced fumble by Melvin Ingram, which kind of turned the point of the whole game and really locked it up for Kansas City when you think about it. But we saw Kansas City kind of go with a running back by committee type of approach. They expect to get Clyde Edwards-Helaire back in the playoffs again. So next week from now, this could look a lot different, especially when you monitor the health of Tyreek Hill. So wasn't easy, had to fight for it, and they emerged on the other side a little hobbled. And if you're a Denver fan, maybe you're a little bit more optimistic about where your team is heading into the offseason. So definitely one of those games that maybe a lot of people didn't think would deliver, but did. And we got to see Kansas City tested in the final week of the regular season before, assuming if Tennessee wins tomorrow, we see them in action with the start of the playoffs next week.
Okay. Did you make any bets today, Brett?
I liked, I won't give it because it's actually underway right now, so I won't make it an official pick of the week for this show. I did like Philadelphia getting 6.5 at home, and as of right now, that's looking like a good play. I won't count that in this bunch since that game is underway, however, but earlier in the week, that was one of my plays. I stayed away from Denver, Kansas City, just because given the quarterback and just the overall offensive identity of Denver coming into this game. Yeah, it was sharp today, but betting my money on it, just not enough confidence, not enough faith in Drew Lock and that unit heading into this matchup. If you did back Denver, I'm happy for you. You cashed your ticket. You won your bet. Good for you. Go celebrate Saturday night in a responsible and safe manner, but I'm happy that it was able to work out for you. Myself, though, wasn't confident enough. Here in hindsight, I could say, though, wow, that was a pretty impressive showing by Denver in a losing effort, which obviously doesn't win you any money if you're betting Kansas City, but if you're betting Denver with that line, it is a losing effort that will win you money because they were able to cover those 10 points.
Okay. Now, like I said, I've been focusing more on what I do.
Yeah.
I am getting more into sports betting. I don't even know where the Dolphins are at this time. Yeah, well, that was my team. It's always been my team because Dan Marino was, to me, is the best quarterback. I know a lot of records have been broken, but I was a Dolphin fan then, and I'm not going to switch my team because this team's in the playoffs. I just don't do that. I'm not sure where they're at this time.
True fan. You don't want to be a fair weather. Dolphins are definitely trying to figure out where they are offensively. Tua Tagovailoa has been up and down. There's been some positive signs, but the negative signs probably outweigh the hope, the glimmer of optimism, I guess you could say at this point. The jury is still out on Tua, and it makes it that much harder given the fact that his contemporaries in the 2020 class, Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow, are playing at an MVP level. Herbert, Rookie of the Year last year. Burrow was looking like he was going to win it before he got hurt. And this year, in the first half of the season, it looked like Herbert was going to establish himself in the MVP race. And here down the stretch, Burrow is doing just that. So either way, the past 2 years, the two names that we continuously talk about are Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert because the talent, the confidence, the poise, the maturity, all of it is starting to show on a week-by-week basis. Cincinnati last week with the huge win over Kansas City, probably Joe Burrow's finest moment as a pro, and Justin Herbert has a chance to clinch the playoff spot with the Chargers tomorrow night right out here in Vegas against the Raiders. So it's a lot of it is kind of, I'm not going to say unfair, but it's not exactly the best case scenario for Tua. A lot of reaction overall is working against him. That may be a little exaggerated, maybe a little hyperbolic, But when you're drafted with two studs like Burrow and Herbert, that's going to be natural because people are going to expect you to be in that tier, even if the case is that those two quarterbacks are just a little bit more skilled and have a little bit more in their tool belt. But again, Miami, lot of moving pieces, a lot of personnel moves that have to be made on the offensive side of the ball. It seemed like last year at this time they were heading into the right direction with head coach Brian Flores, who was coach of the year last year. Very much came back down to earth this year. They've struggled on both sides of the ball. It's clear that if Tua is going to be their guy, they need to build around him a little bit more heavily. And if that's the case, then maybe you could compete with Bill Belichick and the young Mac Jones in the AFC East moving forward. But just like that, after 2020, where it seemed like the Patriots and Bill Belichick were dead and gone, they're right back in it, and they play Miami tomorrow on the road.
Okay, that's interesting because I do watch the football here and there, but
Yeah.
I keep going back to the races. The horse races are right there.
Well, I mean, it's hard not to, right?
Yeah. What do you think? Now I know it's all poor old John Madden. When I was a kid, I see him all the time.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna be giving him here at the stadium. I think it's tomorrow, or is it Monday?
Yeah, tomorrow night,
Tomorrow.
the Chargers-Raiders game.
Yeah, they're going to be celebrating him, his life and death for John Madden. I noticed there was more people here in town, so that's going to be great. I don't know how much the tickets were, or
Yeah.
anything like that, but that's great
That's a big
this.
game. That game was initially scheduled for Sunday afternoon tomorrow, but was flexed into the primetime NBC Sunday Night Football slot, which is what they often do. Formerly in Week 17, now in Week 18, that last week of the regular season, if there's a matchup with a playoff berth on the line, they'll likely flex that into the primetime matchup just to get more eyes on it, and the fact that it likely will be a better game and has a lot just higher stakes overall attached to it. That was a perfect game to flex to, and it should be a good game on paper. The quarterback matchup is obviously the one to break, is the main factor to break down there between Herbert and Derek Carr.
Okay, what do you think? Because my sister likes she don't like me saying the Rams. What do you think about the chance between the 49ers and the Rams?
I like the Niners with the points. However, this is actually, we talk about hedging on the show at times. Richard, if you'd like to look for a hedging opportunity, this could be one for you, I think. I actually like the Niners to cover this opening line of 6.5. That's one of my picks of the week. However, I do think the Rams win the game. So if you're taking the Rams straight up to have having them win on the money line, I would agree with you because I think that is going to be the case. If you wanted to hedge, I would suggest taking the points with the Niners against the spread, and then going on the money line, taking the favorite, the Los Angeles Rams. I think this is going to be a tough game. Kyle Shanahan and the Niners, despite being very inconsistent this year, last week, we got to see Trey Lance for the first time at the helm. Likely will be the future of the franchise at the quarterback position, so they want to get him as many reps as they can. The Rams defense obviously is very stout up front, but the Niners defense seem to play well in these type of moments against divisional opponents. They've been very, very physical against the teams in their division this year, often very difficult to deal with in the line of scrimmage. And this is a team that has been known to give the Rams and Sean McVay fits. Sean McVay overall, I guess you could say maybe in terms of him and Shanahan and how their respective tenures have gone for those two teams, you can make the case that McVay overall may have had the better stint so far, but when they match up, Kyle Shanahan gives the Rams hell. I think that'll be the case this week again, much like how we saw today, a divisional matchup where the inferior team gives the superior team who's favored a favorite at a lot of just more than they could handle, and then some. Just a lot of trouble. I think this is very much going to be the same way tomorrow. I think the Rams make this physical, a down and dirty type of football game that's going to test the Rams in the trenches. Obviously, the health of Cam Akers is going to be big. Him being back into the mix, that's going to be something that they're going to monitor, because if he can go, they're going to want to incorporate him and make him a steady part of the game plan, which will make it that much easier for Stafford to open it up with play action and find his targets downfield like Cooper Kupp and the rest of them. So I think the Rams make enough plays here, whether it be Aaron Donald up front defensively, whether it be Stafford off the play action. I think McVay and the Rams get it done here with the win, but that's a big spread, especially when you look at how that line opened before it fluctuated given the handle. Give me the Niners all day getting 6.5 points on the road. The home spot at SoFi does not scare me at all. I think this is going to be a close game where the Niners show up to play, and the Rams, by the skin of their teeth, are able to get it done.
Okay, well, Julie, you heard it here. Anybody have any questions about professional football or college, there's the number here. You can call in, you can ask Brett, you can ask him what your thoughts on your team and what their chances are and who they're playing against. And you get, maybe he can give you the spread on that and what his thoughts on them winning or what parlay you can take on that team. So Brett, you got anything else there special?
Well, if you want to look at going further into the Sunday slate in the 10 a.m. slot, 1 o'clock Eastern, so again, in that early morning crop, another divisional matchup, you're going to see a lot of those. It is Week 18 after all. I like Pittsburgh getting 6.5. This is the exact same spread as I just mentioned in the Niners-Rams game, and this line is off the opening line. So if you're looking at these lines right now, you won't find 6.5. You're going to find maybe something more around the ballpark of 3.5. 4. So Baltimore right now laying about 3.5, 4. Earlier in the week, laying 6.5, and that's where I like Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is 7-5 and 2 against the spread this year. Not a great mark, but also not a mark that I'm completely going to gloss over either. It's a better mark against the spread than the Ravens, and plus the Ravens in this slot have proven to be up and down. We've seen Baltimore in day games look exceptional, and then we've seen Baltimore in this very slot look very average. Now, good way to gauge that and weigh that out would be the quarterback matchup, but Lamar Jackson is inactive. Ben Roethlisberger will be a go for Pittsburgh. He's fresh off that emotional send-off at Heinz Field this past Monday night against Cleveland. Likely will be his final game in a Steelers uniform here tomorrow on the road in Baltimore. I think the Ravens certainly can win this game even without Lamar Jackson because it's just one of those weird divisional games. Pittsburgh is pretty much, well, I guess actually, now that I think about it, I shouldn't say that. If Pittsburgh can get in if Jacksonville is successful against the Colts tomorrow in that same time slot. So Pittsburgh will basically have to play this whole game in the morning and see where they stand come the end of the game. But Baltimore could eliminate all that by getting the win here. Obviously easier said than done, especially without Lamar Jackson. But Pittsburgh is just still really hard for me to trust. So in terms of the outright win, I'm staying away from it. I think Baltimore can win. I think Pittsburgh can as well. But I think Pittsburgh gets the cover, 6.5 points. Give me Pittsburgh on the road in Baltimore, much like I like the Niners getting 6.5 on the road in LA. When you have these divisional matchups against teams that stack up well, when the former team stacks up well against the latter team, that home field advantage often doesn't mean as much to me. And when you have a line that you feel comfortable with, it makes it that much easier to go ahead and fire on it. And again, when Lamar Jackson is out of the lineup, this is a different Ravens team. And as it should be. I mean, this is the most dynamic player in professional football, arguably. On the offensive side of the ball, he could do things that just other people can't do. He's electrifying, and when he's not there, it's going to be that much harder for Baltimore to take care of business as they should as favorites. So if they win, so be it. But give me Pittsburgh with as a dog, getting 6.5 to cover. And I like them as a live dog here because I do think without Lamar Jackson, they could pick up this win on the road.
Okay, what about the Bears?
Bears, I'm staying away from that. Honestly, in terms of the line, I'd bet the under in that game between them and Minnesota right now. I believe it's around 44, maybe down in the ballpark of 44 to 43. That it's in Minnesota, so you're indoors, obviously Midwest conditions, but whenever you're playing in Minneapolis, that's not a factor given that you're playing in US Bank. But Minnesota, just a mess right now. Obviously, everything with Kirk Cousins last week was put him in a very weird spot in that Sunday night game against Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay. Sean Mannion got the start, and it was just an absolute wreck from the get-go. The Bears deactivated Justin Fields for the rest of the season. It's Andy Dalton the rest of the way. No reason to feel confident about betting the Bears, and this likely could be Matt Nagy's last game at the helm. A lot of people think he may stay, but we'll find out. We're about 2 days away from Black Monday, they call it, where so many coaches basically have to start updating their resumes, if you want to put it nicely. That's to sugarcoat it. A lot of people are going to, not a lot of people, but a few people are getting fired come Monday. And it's possible Matt Nagy's one of them. So the Bears, very much a project. There's going to have to be a lot to be done in the personnel department heading into next year. And it'd be one thing if Justin Fields was at least playing. So much like Denver, you could see your young quarterback and see what he can do heading into the offseason. That's not even going to be the case. So again, with Andy Dalton in the mix, the Bears are just a team I stay away from at this point. The Vikings are a team that I faded all year long, whether it be Kirk Cousins in the lineup or not. But I would recommend, given the way these offenses are very stagnant right now and the fact that neither team has anything to play for really at this point, I'm not saying it would be a terrible game, but I'm not expecting a barn burner of a game. And because of that, I think both offenses will be pretty much held in check. I'd go on the under bet if you're looking at the Chicago Bears this week against the Vikings.
Okay, there you go, Art. You can bet against your team.
Hey, sometimes you got to go with the head over the heart, right?
That's right. Hey, Aaron, why don't we go ahead and let's go ahead and show the cups here, the Las Vegas cups. I bought 4 of the cups, 2 for my son and my daughter-in-law, and I bought 1 for my daughter, and the mugs. The coffee mugs, you can get them for just, to drink coffee, hot chocolate, maybe for the kids. You can order these mugs. And also, there's if you want to order my poster, it's Full Tilt Vegas poster. I ordered one myself, and that's one I took with me and my son. And if you guys want to order these and have them in your room, and people come in and say, hey, look, there's not me and my son, but you just get the poster, and that way you can have that.
That's not a package deal, you mean? Yeah.
No, my son there, he took that picture with me. I was, get up there, let's take this picture. Okay, let's get back here. Brett, we got about, 39 minutes or so. Did you have any picks, parlays? And by the way, if anybody's got any question, we love to hear your calls coming in, and it could be college too. So if you want to call in about any college games, I think, was it tomorrow? Tomorrow too, huh? The college game.
Monday night.
Yeah. Oh, Monday night.
Monday night national championship.
National champion. You want to call in? Maybe you can. Brett's got. I'm pretty sure he's got. You can make picks on that. So, but anybody would just call and ask. We love to hear people call in and ask us questions on anything right now on football, professional or college. It'd be great. Any question? What was that, Aaron? Oh yeah, the number. I can barely see it from here.
Go ahead and catch us 855-502-4321 for the toll-free line, or get us at 702-329-6947. So again, that's 855-502-4321 on the toll-free line. 702-329-6947 is the alternative there. So yeah, we'd love to hear from you. We have about 20 minutes left. And again, also on all our visual platforms through social media right here on Go Live Vegas. You can jump in on the comments. We have an open chat room for every show as we do all our programs here on Go Live Vegas. So join the conversation. We'd love to hear your opinions. We'd love to hear your thoughts. If you agree with me, if you disagree with me, it's all the same, because discourse makes for better content, for better programming for everyone tuning in. And it tries to, I like to think it keeps me sharp. It keeps me alert, keeps me vigilant. That way I'm just not sitting up here as a talking head, ranting and rambling. We want to hear from you as well, the audience. You guys are the ones betting these games. You guys are the ones making these plays, gauging these lines and these totals, just as I am. I want to hear your plays of the week. I want to hear what you're thinking for Week 18 and for the College Football National Championship. So please, jump in on the chat room, jump in on that line. We'd love to hear from you for the next 20 minutes.
That's great. You can see Brett has these numbers memorized. I don't. And push 1 for the studio. I want to hear see if Art, both Arts. There's 2 Arts out there, and then there's Dave. I like to see you guys call and ask about your teams, as I know Art, my daughter's husband's the Bears, and the other Art, I know, like we were cousins since we were kids, and Dave, you're the Raiders. So if you guys got any questions, just call in, and we like Brett. I like to hear what Brett has to say about, because we haven't talked in a couple of weeks because I was gone. So I'm just barely getting back here. So Brett, you got what do you got? Any parlays, or you got any picks?
Nothing as far as the parlay itself, but I will give you again all my straight up picks. Not even straight up picks, just my straight bets, all separate within themselves that I'm not parlaying. When I do parlay, I will let you know, because that's a point of emphasis. There are certain things that I'll parlay because I feel comfortable with those particular bets going hand in hand. We're here not so much, because as confident as I may be in, let's say, the Packers laying 3 against the Lions, I'm not going to parlay that with a total bet on the Chargers-Raiders games tomorrow night. But I will give you my straight bets as they are individually. Again, I already mentioned Pittsburgh plus 6.5. So there, and you could parlay these if you'd like. Feel free. I just did not choose to. So if you would like to take these and mix them with your own plays to make a parlay, whether it be a 5-teamer or even something bigger than that, by all means, go ahead. A lot of people prefer that type of wagering just because it can increase your profit And a lot of people, Rich, are just like consolidation. The same way when people bet certain games on the floor, where they play certain card games on the floor. A lot of times people like places where they can consolidate their winnings and maximize their profit, at least potentially. So that's why people really kind of live and die by the parlay. I myself am not one of them. But again, giving you my straight bets, Pittsburgh plus 6.5. Here's one in the total that I mentioned. I actually like the over on the 49. It opened around 47.5. You may even catch it at 49.5 right now. It's in that ballpark. But between the Raiders and the Chargers, now when they played earlier this season in Monday Night Football, it was, I believe, a final of 28-14, so that would have gone below. However, both of these offenses have really found their footing since then. The Chargers went through a little bit of hump towards in the middle of the season. The Raiders, if anything, who have been plagued by defensive issues all year long, if anything, their defense has kind of been the bright spot of the team the past few weeks. A much improved unit, particularly up front, playing very well on the defensive line, and that's going to be needed to get after Justin Herbert. I think Herbert and Carr really could light up the skies here tomorrow night in Vegas at Allegiant Stadium when these two go down. I think the play itself, I actually really think this can go either way. It's right now it's about a Chargers -3. You could even find it at 2.5. But this to me almost feels like a pick 'em. I feel this can go back and forth to whatever team has the ball last could very well win this game. Playoff spot on the line. I think Justin Herbert is the better quarterback, but Derek Carr is more than capable of going toe-to-toe with him. And because of that, I actually like the over. A lot of people don't. A lot of the public likes the under on this play. And normally, I stay away from overs in the NFL. Even unders in the NFL. A lot of times total bets I'm very selective with in the NFL, but there's something about this 49 that stands out to me. I like that mark. I'm going to go over. I could see this type of game ending with a 31-28, 34-27, anywhere in that window. I could see that being the deficit here, and if that happens, because of it, it will be a successful over bet. I think that's going to be the case. And also pay attention to the halftime betting. Looking at that total, whether you're looking at the line or the total for that matter, pay attention to the way the in-game wagering moves and fluctuates throughout this game. Because if it's a close game, that total, and if it's a high-scoring game early on and Herbert and Carr find their rhythm in the first quarter, that total will go up. So I like it at 49 now. I like it to kind of sit. I believe it'll sit here and not fluctuate anymore between now and kick off tomorrow night. And I think this game finishes north of that. Give me Carr and Herbert to lead their teams into maybe not a true quote-unquote shootout to where we see like a 42-38 type of final, but I definitely think we could see a 31-27, 31-28 type of final, which would allow the total to go over.
Okay.
And then going on top of that, like I said, Green Bay -3, and then if you also want one more, give me San Francisco plus 6.5. And then we could also get into college. I also have a college pick, but I wanted to wait for later for that because I figured we'd wrap up the show. We'll talk about the national championship. But those are my picks for tomorrow, including the pending pick right now that I won't include in that crop, but I did include earlier in the week. The Eagles getting 6.5. They're currently down a touchdown at the half against Dallas, going on right now on ESPN as part 2 of that doubleheader of the earlier game we saw today, Kansas City and Denver. So didn't like that. Like the game going on right now, along with 4 different plays tomorrow and a play on Monday between Alabama and Georgia.
Okay. We're going to go ahead, Aaron. Let's go ahead. Can you run the the snow one more time? This video? You're going to run that, and we'll be back after that with Brett's. He's doing great. He's doing fantastic. I got to keep listening because I'm taking down these picks myself.
Let's hope they hit.
Tennessee Farragut. It snowed last night. Okay, we're back here. That was fantastic. It snowed. I wish it snowed when I was up. I actually woke up and the snow was there. I haven't been in live snow in freaking years, but that was real interesting. So, okay, we're going to go into the college, and Brett's going to be talking about that. So anybody got any questions? Anybody want to know anything about the college games, the Monday champions? So we want to, if you got, come on, let's get some calls. I want to hear somebody call in. So go ahead. I'm going to get, Brett's doing such a great job. I'm taking down these myself. So Go ahead, Brett. Let's go into the college.
Yeah, absolutely. So Alabama taking on Georgia in the rematch spot for the national championship. I was on filling in for you, breaking down those two respective semifinal matchups we saw last week between Alabama and Cincinnati, it was last week, just over a week ago, I should say, between Alabama and Cincinnati and Michigan and Georgia. Both of those SEC teams were clearly the better team. Alabama outclassed the Bearcats. Georgia completely outclassed the Michigan Wolverines. And in a rematch spot where we last saw these two teams play just over a month ago on December 4th in the SEC Championship in Atlanta, where Alabama was victorious 41-24, here we are again with Georgia laying 2.5 points. That's the second time in the span of a month that Georgia is a favorite over Alabama. And that's only the second time in the span of, I want to say, 6 years, going back to 2015, where Alabama has been underdog in two different scenarios, let alone within the same month. So we're talking about a 5-year window where Bama has not been the underdog more than 2 times. And here they are as the underdog 2 times within a month. It's something you don't normally see, and I think for anyone who watched that matchup just a couple of weeks ago is not going to be deterred by it. Alabama getting the points has to be a very convincing play here. I like the Tide getting 3. I think Georgia, can they win the game? Sure they can, because at the end of the day, Georgia has, with defense they have, defensive tackle Jordan Davis, you have efficiency at the tight end position with Brock Bowers and running back James Cook. But at the end of the day, if you look at the teams who have given Alabama fits over the years, look at the quarterbacks, going all the way back from Cam Newton through Deshaun Watson, through Trevor Lawrence, through Joe Burrow, and names like Johnny Manziel thrown in here and there. The common denominator is always that dual threat dynamic ability, whether they be a more downfield type of thrower or more of a true dual threat type of weapon. Either way, a quarterback who could scramble, break the pocket, and deliver the throws downfield while using his legs, those are the quarterbacks that give Bama fits and keep them off balance. Now, this Bama defense is not like some of those is not like some of those Crimson Tide defenses we have seen of the past. However, Will Anderson, one of the best defensive players in the country, future NFL first-round pick, as is Jordan Davis, defensive tackle from Georgia. Both of these teams have stars on the defensive side of the football that will make plays. Georgia had the best defense in all of college football the entire season. Really was historically a great unit when you look at the numbers, and yet they were like butter, and Alabama was a hot knife just 4 weeks ago in that title game. So eventually, the difference in this game, no matter how good each defense plays, no matter how good each team plays in the line of scrimmage, it's going to come down to the quarterback, and Alabama has that edge. And it's a big, big gap in between them, given the fact that Georgia does not have the Deshaun Watson, Trevor Lawrence, Joe Burrow types. They have someone like a Stetson Bennett, who is, can't stress this enough, not a bad football player. Stetson Bennett would not be here. He would not have been able to get the job out in the wake of the injury of JT Daniels and lead the Georgia Bulldogs to where they are right now if he were not a good football player. However, the one game he's lost this year was against Alabama, and it looked like he didn't have much to offer. Again, found Brock Bowers down the seam a couple of times. The running back James Cook is enough to keep Bama, who's not dominant defensively, off balance. But eventually, Stetson Bennett is going to have to make a very, very big play or a series of big plays in this game. And I'm not saying he can't do it, but I'm not betting on my hard-earned money on him to do it. Between these two quarterbacks, I feel a lot more comfortable betting the Heisman Trophy winner, who absolutely shredded Georgia, the number 1 defense in the country, just 4 weeks ago, than I do against Stetson Bennett, who just looked like I guess you could say, a limited quarterback compared to some of the other quarterbacks who have actually been able to beat Bama, especially at this stage. So if you want to do it, you have to be able to consistently get it done with your legs and with your arm throughout the entirety of a game. And if Stetson Bennett can't do that, I don't see a way Georgia can win. Where Bryce Young, I'm counting on him doing just that. All respect to Georgia's great defense. I don't know if they'll put up another 41 points like they did in the SEC Championship, but Alabama will break 20, very likely will break 30, and Jamison Williams, Ja'Cory Brooks, some of these weapons at Bryce Young's disposal, even without John Mechie and even out some of these receivers that have since gone to the NFL, it's proven that this system is still a go in Alabama, and in Tuscaloosa, they can continuously turn out these explosive passing attacks with these young future NFL quarterbacks at the helm. Bryce Young is the best of that bunch here that we've seen in recent years, and I think he's going to prove that, Richard, come Monday night. Give me Alabama. I don't think they win huge. I think this is actually a much closer game than the SEC title game, but Kirby Smart and all his greatness, and despite him doing an incredible job in recruiting and being able to dominate the SEC East until he beats his old boss, until he beats Nick Saban, this is just going to be clockwork. It's just going to continue to repeat in motion, in cycles, until we get to this point where Georgia can finally beat Bama. History will this moment will keep repeating itself into the future unless that changes Monday night. So we'll see. But last three times these two teams met, 26-23 in the national championship in 2018 with Tua Tagovailoa's walk-off to Devontae Smith. The SEC championship in 2018, they won 35-28. 26-23 was the final in that title game I just mentioned. So you have 26-23, 35-28, and 41-24 just a month ago. History is not on the side of the Bulldogs. It is on the side of Alabama, and I think the matchups on the field come Monday night will also be the case. Give me Bryce Young to have a big game, and I think the Tide roll to yet another national championship. The dynasty continues down in Tuscaloosa, and until Georgia really is able to get in that quarterback, that generational type of talent, until they're able to get them in Athens, I don't know if this conversation will change. But who knows? Stetson Bennett, if there's one thing if there's one thing you can for sure bet, he will be ready for the moment. He may not be capable of beating Alabama, but he will be ready. I don't think the lights will be too bright, and I don't think the moment will be too big. And plus, in a rematch spot, I think Kirby Smart and his coaching staff will have a lot of adjustments to where this one will be a lot more respectable and a lot more competitive for the Dogs as a whole. So I think we could be in store for a good one, but give me Bama for the win, and give me Bama certainly to cover, getting anywhere from 2.5 to 3 points.
That's fantastic. We're going to be wrapping this up. That's why I'm really glad that Brett decided to come on the show. I think we really needed this. It kind of plays into what I do. It's a fantastic duo team here, I like to say.
That's a little tag team action. Halfway through the match, you're on the apron, you tag me in, you get out, you take a little breather, and I carry the load for a bit. And then here we are. The match is over, the bell's rung, and we could both celebrate with our belts, right? Yeah. There's another show on this network that probably appreciate that reference more, but we'll whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, and also I like to make a small correction here. The book is actually pretty close here to 4 years old. I know. I think Brett said it was 2. It's 4.
Time flies.
Yeah, time flies. It's 4 years old. So, but anybody want to go ahead and get the book? It's in the book Winning Ways, Blackjack, Craftsman, Roulette, Statistics, and Ratios. Teaches you from the beginning all the way to expert. So you can go ahead and get that. And don't forget about those coffee mugs, the poster, and looks like we're gonna be back here next week. Brett's going to have all the picks, or probably going to have his pick of the week or pick of a parlay.
Playoff time now.
Playoff time. We're going to be doing that. So also.
Yes, absolutely. Alexa, you add skill, go live Vegas Radio. We like to promote our app, and now this is a way to access that audio feed that you get through the app. So just go ahead on any of your devices. You go to Alexa Play, Go Live Vegas Radio. Again, all voice commands, so you could ask for it, and the feed that you get on our mobile app, that live radio feed, will pop up through your Alexa. Use your voice to ask for it, and she will answer. And of course, if you want that video content, follow us on any of our social media platforms on the Go Live Vegas family of networks.
Yep. So that's a new thing we got here. So that's fantastic. You can go listen to 80s music too. It's 80s 24/7. So
and full constantly running replays, I guess you could say, on all the shows going down. The video side of things, you could get the replays of all the shows on whether they be the Go Live Vegas channel on Facebook or social media, or that specific show channel that we would like to unveil here in the next few weeks too. We plan to get on board with that, where we'll have our own page, and you can follow our constant all our constant promotions and episode by episode.
Don't forget to hit the subscribe and hit that like button so you get all the notifications. And you go to Delatory 360 Entertainment and see all the videos. So we like to say bye. You like to say bye there, Brett?
You got it, Richard. Thank you so much, man. Good luck to your guys' picks. Didn't get any calls, but maybe we can next week. Get in the chat room. Let me know who you're liking for the Super Bowl, who you're liking in the playoffs. Plenty to talk next week. We'll recap the national championship right here on Full Tilt Vegas, as well as diving in to that playoff picture that will be solidified in just about 24 hours. So stay tuned.
See you next week.